welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're digging into a document you shared with us. It's a PDF, all focused on the state of Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, it's pretty dense, packed with facts and figures.
Exactly. So our mission today is basically to unpack this thing, pull out the key facts, the really important bits, and help you get a quick handle on what makes Uttar Pradesh tick, based only on what's in this document.
Right, we're sticking strictly to the source material here. Let's see what it tells us about UP.
Okay, let's do it. So right at the start, the basics. The document names the state, obviously Uttar Pradesh, and it gives the capital city as Lucknow.
Straightforward enough. Geography 101.
And then it jumps into history, giving the formation date, November 1st, 1956.
And it specifically ties this date to the States Reorganization Act. That's important context.
Yeah, it really grounds it historically, that whole redrawing of the map of India.
Definitely a key moment.
So that's the historical setup. Now, how's this huge place actually, run administratively? The document gives us numbers. It says there are 75 districts.
75. Yeah, that number alone, it sort of hints at the sheer scale we're talking about, doesn't it?
It really does. And then it gets into the political structure, the representation.
Right, and this is where UP's weight really shows. The document lists 403 seats in the Vidhan Sabha, that's the state assembly.
403.
And then nationally, this is the big one, 80 seats in the Lok Sabha, the lower house of parliament.
80, wow.
And 31 in the Rajya Sabha, the upper house.
So that 80 Lok Sabha figure, the document explicitly calls that out as the highest for any state in India.
It does, and that's hugely significant. It instantly tells you about the state's political clout on the national stage.
No kidding. Massive influence just baked into the numbers there.
Exactly what the document seems to emphasize. It also mentions the key figures in charge, as of 2024 anyway. The governor, Anandiben Patel, and the chief minister, Yogi Adityanath.
Got it. So the structure, the political weight, the key people according to the source. What about the land itself, the geography? It names some big rivers.
Yeah, it lists the Ganga, Yamuna, Gomti, and Gagara.
Just listing them like that.
Well, yeah, the fact they're included suggests how central they are. You know, rivers like these aren't just water. They're often the lifeblood of a region for farming, for where cities grew up, even for culture and identity. The document seems to acknowledge that by naming them.
Makes sense. They really shaped the landscape and life there. Speaking of life, okay, the population figures in this document are, well, there's something else.
It gives a number, approximately 24 crore.
24 crore.
And it notes this is based on the 2021 census data, a crore being 10 million. So yeah, we're talking about roughly 240 million people.
240 million.
Oh,
it's just, it's hard to even picture that scale.
It is. And the document also mentions high population density. It's one of the maybe the most defining characteristic presented here.
Absolutely staggering.
Right.
And it's not just numbers, right? The document points to diversity too, listing languages.
Yeah, it mentions Hindi, Urdu, Bhojpuri, and other regional languages. That mix sort of hints at a pretty varied cultural scene.
And cities.
It names some major ones. Allahabad, which it notes is also called Prayagraj, then Kanpur, Varanasi, and Agra.
Right. Those names alone carry a lot of weight, historically and culturally. Just seeing them listed gives you a certain feeling.
Exactly. They're not just dots on a map. Their inclusion suggests their importance.
And the document kind of expands on that, talking about the culture more broadly. It references a rich history, cultural heritage. What else? Pilgrimage sites, historical monuments.
Diverse festivals, different art forms.
Yeah. This section really adds that layer of depth. It shows the state isn't just about population stats and politics. There's this deep cultural identity that the source wants to highlight.
Okay, so we've got this picture of enormous scale, population-wise, politically, geographically significant rivers, deep cultural roots. What about the economy? Looking forward.
The document touches on that too. It lists major agricultural products, things like wheat, rice, and sugarcane. Right. Which underlines its role as a huge agricultural producer.
Definitely. The document clearly flags that. And then it gets into the government's focus, mentioning specific areas.
Like what?
Things like development initiatives, improving infrastructure, trying to promote industrial growth, and attracting investment.
Okay, so concrete goals mentioned right there in the text. A push towards modernization, economic growth.
Yeah, that's the direction the document indicates the state is aiming for.
So when you pull all these different threads together from the document, what connections jump out?
Well, it becomes really interesting how they link up, doesn't it? Like that huge population figure we talked about,
Yeah.
that directly connects to the massive political representation, those 80 Lok Sabha seats. It's why UP is such a powerhouse in national politics. The document makes that link pretty clear, implicitly at least.
Okay. Population equals political weight. Makes sense.
And the rivers like the Ganga and Yamuna, the document listing them isn't separate from the economy section mentioning wheat and rice. Those rivers are fundamental to that agricultural output, and they influenced where major cities like Varanasi or Prayagraj grew up over centuries.
Right. So geography, agriculture, history, all tied together.
Exactly. And you see this interesting dynamic the document presents, this ancient history and culture. The pilgrimage sites, the monuments existing right alongside the stated modern focus on attracting investment and building new infrastructure.
Like two different timelines running at once.
Sort of, yeah. A state operating on multiple levels based on what this document tells us.
So stepping back from the specific facts for a second.
Yep.
What's the big takeaway for you? What really stands out about the picture this document paints of Uttar Pradesh?
Honestly, it's the sheer scale of everything. The population, the political influence, the depth of history and culture it references, and then the scale of its agriculture and its stated development goals. It really conveys this sense of immense significance.
Yeah, it feels like the document really distills that core message. This place is huge, it's complex, and it matters a lot, historically and right now.
It provides those key pillars, those essential data points to understand why it matters so much, especially within the Indian context.
It does a good job of laying that out.
Yes, I think the source material captures that multifaceted nature quite effectively through these selected facts.
Okay, so based purely on what we've pulled from this document, this highlighting of both the deep, ancient cultural heritage and this strong push for modern investment in infrastructure, here's something to think about. What do you